We have a recording going. So, hi everybody, I am Vismaya Rubin, founder of Living in Gratitude Today, teacher, speaker, best-selling author, but my favorite role is that of a gratitude gangster. What? But it is not about me today. We are here to talk to my friend, Dr. Tianna. I met her back in August of last year, and it was one of those relationships where we got on the phone and we were like for 3 hours. And I finally looked at my clock and I'm like, I need to get off the phone. So she's going to be sharing some really amazing information with you. And she has a free gift. And I want to give you the website right up front. And I will also put it in the email, or I will share it with you later on. It is spiritualitymadepractical.com. And she'll share a little bit more with us about that. But I just want to say hello. Hi, Tianna.
Hello, Miss Maya. We did it. Persistence.
So the backstory is that we were on Facebook Live trying to bring Tianna in, and it's been probably about 45 minutes now that we have been going back and forth with this, and we kind of joked about it, but the truth is that we could have been really frustrated and given up, and thrown a lot of F-bombs, which is kind of fun sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, or we could have just kept pushing through, and that's what we chose to do, because we got on 2 Facebook Lives, we got off of them. We got on 2 Zoom calls, we got off of them. So sometimes it's just about being patient and persistence, my 2 least favorite P words. However.
But otherwise, you're going to have a pisser of a time if you're not patient and persistent.
Yes. That's
another P word.
So, what are you going to share with us today? Because Dr. Tianna is one of the contributors to the Living in Gratitude Today journal, and it is my pleasure to have her share with you. I'm assuming you're going to talk about the GPS code, yes?
Yes, I'll talk about that, but a whole bunch of other stuff as well.
Okay. So, tell everybody what the GPS code is, what it stands for, a little bit about you.
Here's the funny part. The GPS code stands for God or source, if you're not comfortable with the word God, because it's universal, higher power, higher self. It has nothing to do with religion. It's spirituality. So God, source, positioning, system. So it positions yourself to be aligned with your God source. And here's the funny part. The first step when we get triggered, which I think the universe was testing us, Miss Maya, as to how triggered we would get, is okay. Unlike a lot of spiritual systems that you're supposed to transcend or feel good no matter what, in the GPS code, I call it an ego-friendly spiritual system, which means your ego can act out. It could say the F-bomb, it could put a circle of light in it and have a hissy fit. It could vent. This is where you put the would-haves, the could-haves, the should-haves, the blah, 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 the blah, 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 because it's saying you're human. We're human. We're divine beings in human form. I love to say that Teilhard de Chardin got it right. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. So that's gear 1. Gear 1 is have it out. But the key is you don't get stuck to the story.
And I think that's important. I think sometimes, and I agree with you, often we're like, oh, brush it to the side. But I really believe that what you resist persists. Yes. And when you constantly are like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's okay, and you brush it away, we start to, it builds up.
It clings to the cells, Vismaya. You're so right. It clings to the cell. We think we're being spiritual because it didn't phase us. Well, if it really didn't phase you, you'll be peaceful. But if it phased you, do not play the game.
You froze.
Disease in their abilities in their mind body that then leads to a real disease in physical form.
I agree with you.
Now, when you're aligned with your soul, here are the only 4 states that tell you you're aligned with your soul. And when you do what I like to call a badass GPS, if you're triggered, a badass is where only these 4 states exist. You're either at peace, really at peace, no monkey mind chatter, no emotional reactivity, and not because you've transcended it, or I like to say perfume the poison. No, no perfuming, any poison. You either really feel at peace because you see the higher picture and you just laugh, or you're at peace, or you're living in the question. That's what we were doing, Vismaya, like curiosity. Are we going to get this thing to work? Are we not going to get this thing to work? Is it going to work in this lifetime? We could say, what's the deeper meaning? But that's part two. First, you triage, you stop the bleeding. Then you can look at the deeper meaning, the deeper pattern. But I dare say the deeper pattern is we were being tested to show that we could go on with the show no matter what. And so that's exciting. Or you feel empowered. You know that whatever you're going through, that part of you that created it consciously or unconsciously will give you the answer. The answer's on its way. The solution is on its way, because there's no accidents, coincidence, or mistakes. Or, I love the last one, you're downright laughing at the whole thing because you know it's you playing with yourself. This is me naughty, but this is you, Vismaya, so I can be naughty because we are naughty. It's called what I love to call divine masturbation. It's you playing with you. It's your ego playing with your soul, playing with you. So those are the 4 states when you're aligned with your soul and your soul blueprint. And that's a wonderful way to go through life.
Yes, I hear you. And that sounds quite delightful. And again, like we were saying, you know, we could have been really triggered, and I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to lie and tell you that I wasn't frustrated, because I was.
Yes.
But then we had to make this decision because we've planned this, and I wanted to make sure that Tianna's information was out to the world and to my community, because you have so much to say and we always have such delicious conversations. And then we got to figure out, you know, again, how do we make it work? So,
and we did.
We did. And we're smiling about it.
That's why you know that we are aligned now. We didn't repress anything.
Right.
If we couldn't be laughing about it, and I'll be honest, I was semi-triggered, not totally triggered, because I'm like, oh, the universe is toying with its mousey. I like to call it toying with its mousey. When the soul is going, are you really ready to get this work out there? Are you really ready to be visible? Are you two really ready to play big together? And so we did.
Yeah, I mean, I was triggered as, I get it. I was triggered as well. It's like, you know, why is this happening? And that's my ego. Why is this happening to me? It's not about me. Why can't anything, you know, go right? And all that other crap. But we got it to work. So fantastic. Yay. And yeah.
It was a perfect demonstration of GPS, because when you're triggered, here's the great news, everyone. Be triggered. It's okay. Just don't stay triggered.
Right.
That's where you harm yourself and you are reactive instead of proactive in life.
I love that.
Those
So
4 states of consciousness. If you're in those 4 states of consciousness, then it's past. This too shall pass. I love that phrase. This too shall pass. So you get triggered like a wave, and then this too shall pass. If it's not, don't lie to yourself.
So
authenticity.
Let's kind of go backwards for a minute. Tell everybody what you do, because we just jumped into GPS code and people are like, that's great, but what do I do with this? How do I use it? So tell everybody a little bit about what you do, and then we'll go into maybe some of the pieces of the GPS code, and then I know there's other goodies you want to talk about as well.
Oh, absolutely. I want them to have freebies that are a daily living experience of a new habit for super success. I still, to this day, don't know how to say what I do. However, I've been doing it since I was 4 years old and getting paid for it by the time I was 7 years old. And that's energy medicine, energy transmission, mind-body connection. I'm a naturopath by training, naturopath, ordained minister, shaman, and a whole bunch of other titles. However, what I really love to do is empower people to empower themselves. And so I like to play guide, mentor, and kind of show the way and then send you on your way. And I'm here whenever anybody needs. That's what I've told my clients for.
So it's kind of like, you know, not just giving it
years.
Okay. We got blocked a little bit. It was what do you call it? It froze.
A glitch.
Yeah, it froze for a second. So you don't just give people the fish, you teach them how to fish, and then you send them on their way, so that they're not consistently beholden to you, or they have to call you, and which they can call you, but they still have the tools now that they can use. I love that. So a little bit about GPS code, because I know that what you're saying is that it's a direct path so that we're able to really live in a state of alignment. But can you share a little bit about how people get there? I know there's different parts. Can you maybe go into the parts very briefly?
It's really hard to go into the parts briefly because most people, they're universal principles. So people say, I know that. And one of my mentors, Harv Eker, said as soon as the ego mind says, I know that, it shuts down. So I'd rather talk about the end result of an aligned GPS. And that's what I was saying, those 4 states, living in those 4 states and knowing that whatever trigger, whatever problem, you have the answer. That's key. You're not powerless. And what I can say is I knew this through a really tragic sacred wound at childhood at age 13 when I had my first real spiritual awakening. These are the words I love telling people that undergird the GPS code and undergird everything I teach in life. Here they are. And this is a writer downer. I would say people have a pen and paper or type it. This is a writer downer. It's life-changing. And it's not because it's me. It gave me a life-changing experience, and I'd love to pass it on. And those are the words: surrender each day, step by step, you'll be shown the way. Listen to it again. Surrender each day, step by step, you'll be shown the way. What do you get from that, Vismaya? I could see your face, and I'd love to play with that.
So surrender, for me, sometimes that can have a connotation. For me, I understand now it's not about letting go and being, kind of submissive and let people stomp on me, but like just surrender kind of like says to me, don't always be so attached to the way things have to go. Kind of like what we experienced earlier today with the technology. Like we could have been really, oh yeah, we had a certain way it had to look, and had we not surrendered to another alternative, we would have still been on Facebook screaming and cursing, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. Or we would have started a tirade on Facebook.
Right. Technology. Right.
Exactly. Instead of coming up with another solution.
So
the way surrender is, it's not submit. So I really want to acknowledge what you said. It's not, go passive, or I'm helpless and hopeless and conditioned helplessness, which is so many people might think surrender is. Surrender is let go to your higher nature of self. Let go to God. Let go and know that a better message is coming through. See, in us, a better message is, we got 5 gold stars, Vismaya, and the show is going on. It's called, like in the movies, take 2 and get it. So it's showtime. That's what it was for us. There could be a lot of other underlying patterns that could come up that we could fine tune, tweak, but for the most part, we aced it. I give us 5 gold stars out of 5 gold stars. And everybody who was patient with us and watched the craziness, I bless all of them too, because they could have been getting all bent out of shape as well.
Right.
But as I said, gear 1 of GPS code is, it's okay to get bent out of shape. It's just you don't stay bent out of shape. But going back to surrender, so that's the surrender. It's surrender to that higher part of you. Then surrender day by day, okay? It doesn't say once a week. It doesn't say once every year, once a month. It says surrender day by day, step by step. So it means just take 1 breath, 1 step. 1 breath, 1 step. It makes it so much easier when you break it down day by day. Day by day, step by step, you'll be shown the way. And here's the big reveal. If you can give me a drum roll, here's the
You froze, wait.
Air Force, because my dad passed away. What? I froze?
You froze. So go back after the drum roll. What did you say?
Oh, okay. Drum roll. I said, I've tested this, and GPS is like the codified form of what I've lived that took me from the tragedy of my dad's death and sexual violation by a family member the same day, to the triumph of all of my successes. And there have been more than enough that if in my 40s I had passed away when my husband passed away, because I went with him into that kiss, that's a whole other story, I was fulfilled beyond measure. So my passion and my purpose is to have people, their soul on fire and aligned so they can be fulfilled beyond measure. So that on that last day, you look back and go, yay. But here's the secret. When you do let go into the what's illusion of death, which is very real and very painful to those left behind on physical form. I know I'm the poster child for grieving, and my second book is all about that. But I also have the gift of mediumship, so I started hearing and feeling him. But that's all beside the point. What you'll find out, and this is the big reveal, and people, please listen. You made the whole thing up. So whether you had a joyful life experience or a reactive life experience, you made the whole thing up. I didn't know that at age 13, but I had a near-death experience at age in my 40s. And it was at that point that I really got, oh my God, this is a huge message. To not stay reactive, to be proactive, to follow the code of your soul to the highest and best version of you in every moment. And that is a really, really key piece that I can't emphasize enough.
So when you work with somebody on the GPS code, because I get it, I get what you're saying, but when you work with people with the GPS code, you break it down so that these are bite-sized pieces that they can take on, and they have activities, I'm assuming, or different assignments so that they can practice each piece?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And for those who get the video, I reveal the secret code.
And they get the video, let me make sure, they get the video through spiritualitymadepractical.com?
Absolutely, because so many people don't realize that spirituality is practical. It's not meditation alone. It's not going to the Himalayas, although I've done all those things. Spirituality is a day-by-day experience. And so you make it practical. So spirituality.
Sorry, I thought I had my water here, but I don't. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, what that also gives is what I was sharing with you, Vismaya, the most powerful parts of your day, that bar none, you capture these two moments, you set yourself up for the highest success and the best experiences. And that is in the morning when you first wake up, and at night before you go to bed. I talked about this in our gratitude journal, remember? And do you remember the answer why those two times are the most important parts of your day?
Remind me.
It's okay. No is an acceptable answer. And that is because the conscious mind, and this is important, the conscious mind, which holds your limiting beliefs and lives from the limiting beliefs, is sleepy. In the morning, it's not quite awake, and at night, it's starting to fall asleep. So you can access what they call the subconscious, but here's the bigger secret. You can access the superconscious. You bypass the limiting beliefs, you bypass all of those programs and go straight to source. That's the gift God gave me through the worst tragedy of my then child life. And it works. Believe me, I'm living proof of how it works. So it's as simple as that. So when you wake up first in the morning, unfortunately, our society is trained for people to have these alarm clocks go off that jolt you into your body. Try to train yourself through self-hypnosis not to use that. Maybe in a practice like training wheels on a bicycle, but you really don't want to be jolted back into the physical form. You want to feel your wisdom of the connections between dimensions. That's where the answers come in to any of your questions, your problems. That's where your guidance comes in.
Hang on a second, you froze again.
Then do your gratitude. Okay. Is that better?
Yes, we got you back.
Okay. And then how perfect is my, then you do your gratitudes. You give thanks for waking up. What a concept. You're still alive. And for the quality of your life and the gift of your life. And then whatever gratitudes come to mind on a daily basis. That is a perfect way to wake up, because then you're a receptive being. You're not jumping up and going right into your to-do list. That's it.
I have to practice that more, because sometimes I go through stages where I do my morning practice really well, and then there's days that I jump up and I go right into working, and sometimes that feels good for me because I get a lot done in the morning and I'm ready and able to go. But I hear you about the importance.
And I'm going to tell you something that is another sneak peek into this level of reality. I don't put together to-do lists. I put together 3 priorities for the day, and the rest I surrender. And I get more done in a day than most people do in a week. And it's fun and it's effortless.
I love that.
It's not just about me. It is the power of tapping into or accessing our spiritual nature of self. That's the gift God gave me. And imagine if a child at age 13, losing her hero mentor dad and sexually violated, can speak like this. And in my near-death experience, I saw that there's a gift in every experience. And so you would think, what's a gift in that experience? Well, that's what woke me up to being a transformational leader from the inside out. I had to transform my own reality.
Yes, you did.
Then I had the qualification, because my clients would come to see me, and I was in my 20s, right? And they'd be like, what do you know? Because I had to practice before I had the degrees. I was like already doing it because I had to do it for me. And so then I would tell them if it was appropriate, what had happened and what qualified me. And everybody would be like, if she could do it, I could do it. And so that's the reason I share it. You notice there's not only no residual, I embrace the blessing through the pain, because equal or greater than any pain anyone ever goes through is the gift, as long as you stay persistent, never give up, and never give in. So that takes care of the morning. Now for the nighttime, I just want to complete the loop in the brain. At nighttime, how could I say this? The problems of the day, if you don't have a ritual to release them at night, that's what causes sleepless nights or tossing and turning. So
I love that. Hold on. A ritual to release the problems of the day.
Yes.
You don't even need to say anything else right there. That is just perfect.
Yes. And it's important, because then you could have a night where you access your wisdom, not just solving your problems, but actually getting answers to whatever's going on. Everybody is renewed to start the day strong.
I recently heard somebody say that he goes to bed at night and he invites his angels, his guides, whatever, he brings in, and he asks questions, and he'll say, please give me the highest, for my highest self, give me the answer to this question. And then in the morning, he has a notebook always by his bed, and he just, whatever he remembers, he writes it down. So that's kind of what I was hearing you say.
You articulated it beautifully, Vismaya, and he nailed it. Because that's how you use the power that's our God-given grace, our spiritual nature.
I'm going to practice that.
If you don't do those two, like a bookend, step by step, if you don't do that, then you get to figure out through your ego and your limiting beliefs your life. Let me tell you, I wouldn't want to do that. Much too much hard work. Much too much hard work. I'd rather take it. That's why I said I'm all about bringing awareness, awakening on autopilot. The autopilot is letting your soul drive your vehicle, not your ego drive your vehicle. And we're human. So that's why when the ego is holding on for fierce control of that steering wheel, you just have to tap it on the shoulder, go into the back seat. And that's what the code helps you to do. It's got the setup and 5 steps. And if after 5 steps you haven't aligned, you get to, like in a car's GPS, recalculate and get rerouted until you do.
And step 5, we already know what that one is. You with me? You frozen? Step 5 is gratitude. So you have this.
Gratitude is the number 4. I'll give you the
Uh-huh.
sneak peek. Gratitude is the number 4. And the reason being gratitude is the number 4, because if you've let go of control, it automatically wells up. Automatically wells up.
I love that. So with the GPS code, you give people the tools to really create this great life. And it's not about, throwing away our quote unquote problems or ignoring them. We get to embrace them, deal with them, and live with them.
Grow bigger than them.
Right.
I often call it that our problems, think about toothpaste. If I had my toothpaste tube, our soul is squeezing our ego like toothpaste to get every last bit of our goodness out, every last bit of our evolution out. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. But then you are bigger than any of your problems. And believe me, I don't say this lightly, and I don't say this because I've had an easygoing life. No, 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 no. I have not. I say this from going into the alchemy of love's fire, the crucible, and coming out each time. Even though my ego would say, when can I get to graduate, like AKA leave this planet with all the legacy left behind? Because the light is so intoxicatingly beautiful and filled with love.
I love that. So I know we've talked about this recently, that you have something that goes very well with
Oh,
the.
God. Yes.
So let's talk about that for a few minutes and really share with people, because now, so you, excuse me, you have the opportunity to get a taste of Tianna by going to spiritualitymadepractical.com. I signed up the other day. I'm going to go through my email and make sure that I got my my morning and my evening ritual so that I can start to practice that as well. Spiritualitymadepractical.com. But I know that when we've been talking recently, you've said that there was something else that has been really working well with the GPS code and everything else. You want to talk about that?
Oh my God. I'm like a little kid in a candy store. When I was a child, my father was what's now known as a holistic doctor. Back then, nobody knew of holistic doctors. But he was that kind of a doctor. It wasn't just about prescription and surgery. He put his hands on people and say, what's going on in your life that this is happening? And so if it was a heartbreak, it would be what's going on in your life that's breaking your heart. So this is what I grew up with. So I was the little kid who was precocious enough to want to go down to daddy's office every day, especially since my mother had a mental illness and was really kind of almost abusive, not almost, but we're all at peace now. Everything's forgiven, cleaned up, all that good stuff. But that was my prompting trigger to go downstairs. In those days, people did not have appointments. They sat there with their knitting and with their food and with their everything. And I used to go there and say, like I'd say to you, Vismaya, how are you today? Can I put hands on boo-boo and make it better? And of course, I was the doctor's daughter. Who would say no to the doctor's daughter? No one. So they would say yes. Now, what they didn't realize is I knew where the boo-boo was. So I put my hands on the boo-boo. But anyway, I'm saying that because my inner child loved putting her hands on the boo-boo to help make it better. Well, now I have patches. Patches have replaced my hands on boo-boo. Instead, I give you your patches so you could put it on your boo-boo and make it better. So it's the ultimate in really setting yourself free of pain, of sleepless nights, of stress and inflammation and low energy. It's in a patch. It's a frequency patch. And I've been all about mind-body energy medicine. And here it is. You get to patch yourself. And it's simple. It's inexpensive. And at first, I had to go through major healing because it was a network marketing company. And I love the products, but I'm a doctor. Do I endorse? I recommend quietly to my clients, but not. But when it aligns the soul through energy medicine, my inner child is madly in love, madly in love. And she wants, she has a motto, and that's Starsky's motto too, because I found it through my dog almost dying. So it had a spiritual kind of entry point with me. But it's, if any person or pet is suffering physically, emotionally, or mentally, patch it. That's how simple it can be.
Is Starsky with you? We froze again. It starts.
Here's Starsky.
Ah, look at
Here's
him.
Starsky. Here's Starsky.
Hi.
Here's Starsky. Yeah, this is the dog that almost died in February. And literally, cremation papers were being drawn. It was that close. And I prayed to God, and I said, God, you know, you're not supposed to bargain, and I do the GPS code, but I'm human, so I bargained. I will do anything. I will share anything. Just help my baby. I posted on Facebook. Now, I've never asked for me to be sent energy. I always send energy and healing anytime anybody requests it. But I asked for Starsky. And all these beautiful people, about 100 people sent me love and energy to Starsky. But one said, there's these stem cell patches, and I know of stem cells from being a doctor, that we gave a friend's dog, and he came to life. Well, I didn't waste any time. I didn't know it was network marketing. I just said, please, 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 let me, send me whatever, price, whatever. Within 15 minutes of applying it to his collar, he started barking. He was hungry, and he's back. And so it's an amazing company. If anybody just even wants to have a chat with me, no pressure. If it's a fit, if it accelerates your evolution, great. If not, no problem. It's magic. So I call GPS code and these patches soup and sandwich. They go together for the ultimate awakening meal.
So to make it very easy, what I think we can do is that, yes, we can give people your information, but if you go to spiritualitymadepractical.com, as soon as you get that first email from Tianna with the morning meditation, respond to it and say, I want information about the patches. Does that work for you?
That's brilliant. Yes.
Because then it's, you're kind of taking it into your own hands and you get to be responsible for that as well. So if you want information about the patches, sign up, make sure you're getting the morning ritual, which is spiritualitymadepractical.com. Go in, put your name, your email information. She'll send you that information and then turn around and respond to that email and say, send me information about the patches, please.
Yes, and then I'm going to sweeten the pot. I love giving more and more and more. Anyone who does that, as well as gives me whatever intentions they want me to send energetic transmission to. I've been doing it since I was 4 years old. I'm also a Reiki master and all the stuff you're supposed to be to do energy transmission, but I was born with the gift, and people get amazing results. So I will also match make it to your intention.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You just responds.
That's beautiful. I love it.
It's my little child's gift. Well, can I share the dream my child had at age 9?
Yes.
That's when we have our soul's blueprint within us, but they've been conditioned over, but for some reason I was able to kind of keep mine alive. At age 9, I had a dream that a woman came from the stars and put something into my hand. It was like an orb of light. She says, you're too young to understand this, but one day you will. And she gave it to me. I turned to light. Then I turned to somebody else and gave it to them. They turned to light and they passed it on. Then I saw a globe of the world that was dark on the tipping point where people were hurting, relationship, money, health. And each person who received the light turned to light and the world tipped into light. Don't you think that relates to what we're going through now in the awakening times? And GPS code to take life from reactivity to proactivity, from ego to soul driving your vehicle, and these patches that instantly awaken your own light. And here's the beauty, nothing is ingested. That's another part of me that loves it. I know that the body can heal itself. I've witnessed it with myself and thousands of clients over 40 years. And the body doesn't need a lot. You just ignite it. I like to call it cellular arousal. You arouse those cells up, they fire up your juices, and you heal. Well, these patches do not go transdermally. They're not like the Nicoderms where you get a chemical going into your body. Nothing. Non-toxic, non-abrasive. Pets, children, anyone could use it. No contraindications. As a doctor, I couldn't be happier to give people something that they could afford and a technology that's spiritual to awaken and empower themselves. So
I love that. I love that. So again, spirituality made
here's
practical.
another funny thing.
Go ahead.
And here's another really funny thing. I've always loved a lot of the network marketing products because they're wonderful products. But I used to make a joke. I'm like, I love Lucy on the chocolate assembly line. You know, I can't keep the auto ship going fast enough. So I still have gummy bears and bubble baths in my closets from decades ago. This one, hey folks, I'm actually prospering that I could call it revenue peace of mind. Because as entrepreneurs and in anything in life, if you want to have a full life, you want cash flow. You can have millions, but if you don't have cash flow, ask me how I know. So I'm doing both. And so I'm beyond the moon, and I'm here because I love, especially my passion is people in the second half of life. Guys, you only have half a life left, but make it the best of the possibilities to live your dreams. I've ticked off all my dreams, and I keep adding more dream list journals. I don't like bucket list. I've been calling it dream list ever since I was starting my practice in my 20s. But you deserve to have the best life, the most fulfilling, and I call it an extraordinary journey. Notice, not necessarily the dream life that your ego gets all bent out of shape to try to make happen, but take your journey, find the extra from your sixth sense, from your natural blueprint that you gave yourself out of time and space, and watch the miracles. I've seen things. I've become a best-selling author when I couldn't even write, a producer of movies, very successful, 6 figures since the 80s. I mean, come on, folks. We have power. We are not igniting. God gave me a horrible tragedy and a beautiful ignition, and now it's codified and made affordable and portable. I'm over the moon, absolutely over the moon.
I love that. So again,
and you are the most amazing person, because from the beginning of our conversation, you're a natural. You got it. You got it. So so much good for so many people, because gratitude is not an attitude. Gratitude, like love, is one of the greatest frequencies this planet has ever seen. And it is the tipping point from darkness to light, because all of it, a shaman, not a shaman, a spiritual master in India nailed me on this one. He said, when Tianna likes God's outcome, it's God's grace. When Tianna doesn't like God's outcome, it's God's will. Tianna, all is God's grace. So gratitude. And you're the foremost vixen for that.
Thank you.
And I thank you.
Well, there you have it, my friends. You have Dr. Tianna. You have got a full, I mean, there's so much that we can really just go over and listen to this interview again, because you've given us so many pieces and so many nuggets. Is there any last words you want to say, last piece of advice, last piece of wisdom?
Yes. Wake up and go to sleep every day with your power. And the first person you hug yourself is you. You, because then, whether you're living single or living with a partner or living with a pet, you come from your cup overflowing, because now you set the oxytocin, the love hormone, in play. And so love you first. And here's my motto that I love telling people. You know, Socrates said, know thyself. So Tianna takes off on Socrates, and I don't have to worry about intellectual property, because I don't have a hard time. Know thyself, love thyself, and trust thyself for your best and highest life.
There you go. That was beautiful.
Yes.
Spiritualitymadepractical.com. If you don't go, don't know what to tell you, but I've already logged in yesterday, and I'm going to go check my email as soon as we get off and make sure that all of my goodies are in my mailbox right now. Thank you. Thank you so much for making this work, for being willing to play even with the technology crazies.
Oh, yes.
And it was a pleasure to have you on.
My greatest pleasure, and kisses, kisses, kisses. Keep it spiritually simple. You are a spiritual being. having a human experience. Don't screw it up by forgetting that. Remember, you're not a human being, you're a spiritual being having a physical experience.
I love that. All right, everybody. Until next time, see you soon.
I think we froze, but I think it's a